You're listening to the Water Cooler Edit with Chris and Rich. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Water Cooler Edit with MyBayut. And on this episode we'll be talking about many different things as always, but one of the most interesting things is that we've got the market report for Q1 and there's no surprise, rent and sale of houses, property in general has gone up, Rich.
It certainly has, yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to focus on the rental side of things, right? You reckon? Just because, I mean, a lot of us, let's be honest, as opposed to buying, more of us are renting, right?
Yeah, I think about the three people in the room right now, I think 100% of us rent.
Yes.
Unless the cameraman's got a lot of property that he's not telling us about, which is probably
He might have a property empire. You never know.
True,
you never know.
Makes
but
sense.
I certainly haven't.
I don't have one either, so we're both on the rental front.
Yeah, we're on the rental front. So I think it's interesting to look, anyone living in Dubai at the moment will be aware that rents have been going up. Obviously, it varies from area to area as to how much those increases are taking place.
What we're discussing before is JVC is one of the most popular areas to rent an apartment here, in the affordable segment. And you notice that, about 20-ish%, a bit more than that?
JVC, you're absolutely right. In the affordable segment for apartments is the most popular area. Now, this is based on activity we see on Bayut, searches, listings, etc. Now, it's been that way for a long time, but we're looking, if you look at the rents for studios, 1 beds and 2 beds, do you want to hear the rents for the average rents?
So right? I said it was about 20-ish%. I think
I'll give you the percentage after it averages 36,000 for dirhams for a studio per year, 51,000 for a 1 bed, and 73,000 for a 2 bed, right?
Yeah.
They've all increased. But the maximum increase is 23.5%. Right?
Oh, so it's a maximum, not an average?
Yeah, it's not an average, no.
Okay.
So that's the highest increase of rent.
That is a staggering amount. That's almost a quarter of what you were originally paying last year. That's a quarter of what you were originally paying 12 months ago.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, if you look
that is not small.
It's not small at all. If you look at the cost of apartments in JVC in comparison to other areas in Dubai, it's still pretty competitive, right? But if you've been living there for a while, you're going to start seeing your rent going up, thinking, hey, what's going on here, right? So, but those are the trends at the moment. And look, there's an increase in demand. There's a lot going on in that area. A lot more things are opening, amenities, facilities, etc. Increased demand means increased rent. That's how it works,
that's
right?
true. Now, before we move on to luxury, let's have a look at the affordable villas, because this is no surprise, right? Mm-hmm. I've got friends that have moved in there. They keep trying to persuade me to move in there as well. And while they're very nice, I personally find it's a little bit too far out of town. It takes me half an hour, and I apparently live outside of town to get here. So, of course, we're talking about Damac Hills 2, what was formerly known as Akoya.
Absolutely. So basically, the most popular is Mirdif for affordable villas, always is. But in recent years, Damac Hills 2 has risen up through the charts. Is now clearly the second most popular area to rent affordable villas. As time goes on, it may even become the most popular.
But, of course, the affordable segment is one part of the report that we have. We, of course, have the luxury aspect of it as well, and we've got both apartment and villas. Now, no surprise, Dubai Marina is the most sought after area to rent when it comes to luxury apartments, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. It's the reigning champion. It's going to take some knocking off that perch because it's been the reigning champion for a number of years. Now, look, this won't surprise anyone, but the rents are rising in Dubai Marina, right? So the maximum rent increase that we've noticed is 38.5%. Between the 2-bed and the 3-bed, the average price-wise, 68,000 dirhams.
That must be where that massive increase is. And then, of course, for luxury villas, it's Jumeirah, 100%. I don't even need to look at the report. I guarantee it's somewhere in Jumeirah.
Actually, this is interesting, actually, because it's not Jumeirah. Jumeirah is second, but where it is very, very close to Jumeirah. Some people would say in Jumeirah. It depends how you do your boundaries. Sakim.
Okay, I would consider that Jumeirah.
Yeah, right. So some people would say Sakim is in Jumeirah. Some people would say Sakim is right next to Jumeirah.
Okay.
For the basis of our report, we separate the two areas.
Makes sense.
There you go, right? So, and yes, it's still by far and away well, actually, it's quite marginal over Jumeirah, but it's the most popular location for luxury villas, to rent luxury villas. And you want some prices? Oh, I'll tell you what, these have gone up considerably as well, right?
Not surprised.
So the 4 beds, right? You'll pay an average of 271,000 dirhams.
Okay.
But that has gone up, because this report compares quarter 4 2022 to quarter 1 2023. So the prices of 4 beds have gone up on average 49.7%.
Right.
Right? So that's a lot. And actually, I take that back. That's a maximum increase, but still 49.7%, considerable. Then we've got for 5 beds, it's 315,000. And for 6 beds, which is a whopping villa, let's be honest, we're talking mansion, probably swimming pools, etc., you're paying an average of 474,000 dirhams, with an increase since the previous quarter of 28%.
That's very surprising. The 4-bedroom has gone up more than anything else, where you say it's close to 50% increase. It's crazy when you think about it. I mean, I know that Sakim and Jumeirah is probably one of the most iconic locations here that you'd want to live in here. I know that I eventually one day would like to live in that area. I'd like to move back.
Yeah.
That is a staggering amount of money. And
maybe wait for the rents to go down a little bit. If that happens, who knows? But look, I mean, I think the thing is, the trends are undeniable. This has to be said. But I think the quality of the property still has to be taken into account, and we have to look at the property market, not just in Dubai, the UAE, around the region, around the world. Prices are on the up because of many different global factors with regards to finance. So I think what will be interesting to see is how we go throughout the rest of the year. Where are we going to be in 3 months' time? You know?
And it appears that, again, we've got to remember that Corona is only, 2 years ago or something like that. We only started lifting restrictions here up until, the mid of last year, right? Mm-hmm. And an increase has been seen from Q4 to Q1 already. You'd expect that to probably be slightly less, probably like a smoother line, not rather than a steep incline in certain areas. But of course, the country is rapidly grown in the past 8 months. One
thing I would say to anyone interested in these reports, right? I think you don't have to be a real estate professional to get things out of these reports. Even if you're just someone who's looking to rent, right? You can. Our market reports, are written in a way that you can just dip in and get the information you want. You don't have to sit there for half an hour reading a 3,000-word epic, You can just pop in and see an area you might be interested in. What are the rent trends in that area? What's happened over the last 3 months? Yeah. And what you could roughly expect to pay. So I do think that we try to make them accessible, not just to real estate professionals, but just to normal folks who are just, looking where they're next going to rent, And it helps you make an excellent decision on where you want to move to next. Well, that brings an end to this episode of the Water Cooler Edit with MyBayut. Of course, you want to learn any more about the topics that we've discussed on this episode, you can, of course, check out the MyBayut blog, which is Bayut.com/MyBayut. Check out the market reports and let them help you make a valued decision when it comes to moving to your next location right here in the United Arab Emirates. We'll see you on the next one.
You're listening to the Water Cooler Edit with Chris and Rich.